What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more The Cure, and we're returning to The Head on the Door, 1985. I've got my eye on you. You look a bit mischievous. And the next tune in the playlist is The Baby Screams, which sounds intense and maybe dangerous. I would point out a subtle distinction between screaming and shouting, which is to say, shouting is using your voice in a very loud manner but saying particular words, whereas screaming, I suppose it could also be that, but it is often used to indicate a vocalization that is very loud and intense, but is not actually words, and whether it's for fear or excitement of some kind, it is typically not an articulate phrase or sentence. In any case, a baby makes me think that we probably wouldn't be dealing with language per se anyway, which is to say, if you're talking about a very young child, you might say toddler, and that would be more likely to have actual words. But a baby screaming, I don't quite know what to make of that. It gives me a visual and aural sense of a snapshot, but I don't really know what to do with it. Let's see what Robert and Co. have to say about it. This is The Cure. The track is The Baby Screams, and it's from the 1985 album The Head on the Door.
Wait
They really are awesome, you know. This is a fantastic track, even though I have little sense of what it's about. I caught snippets of lines, and in a couple cases, I'm not even sure if I've heard those snippets correctly. Definitely, reference to dreams and like waiting for the sunrise, or was it sunshine, which would suggest maybe it's the middle of the night or the time in which most people are asleep and or dreaming. But yeah, like lyrically, I don't quite know what to make of it, and I'd have to re-listen, and ultimately, I'm interested in what insight anyone might be able to offer. Vocally, I enjoyed Robert's vocals here, more in his wheelhouse, but with some really expressive and like emotive delivery over the course of the tune, sort of, hitting like a very intense and passionate sound, in particular in that rising scream moment, which feels like in some way it must relate to the essence of the title. But yes, ultimately that was a nice lead-in to the chorus each time. Definitely a very groovy and dynamic bass line that was standing out. Also some cool guitar work. Indeed, this one felt a bit more like dark art rock than some of the poppier tunes that we've heard on this album and the singles compilation we went through. So yeah, maybe a bit of a throwback at this point, not so much leaning into the more accessible pop sound of some of the tracks that we've gone through in the last couple months, but a bit more like some of the earlier stuff, but maybe still again with a more diverse instrumentation than some of the early stuff. And by that I mean we definitely hear some piano. We also hear what sounded like a drum machine clap on a like rapid loop, meaning like double or triple time claps cycling around. And the the juxtaposition of the natural instrument sounds of the bass and the guitar with the seeming like drum machine type sounds was a nice synthesis of, again, a bit more like synth pop meets like art rock. So yeah, definitely a cool one sonically and vocally. Lyrically, I look forward to hearing any insight, but yeah, it's like whatever they seem to do, whether they go heavy and dark and more off the beaten path, it's compelling. When they do a pop tune, they just kind of hit something very catchy and memorable. And in the early phase, through the first album and a half or first couple albums, they had that like post-punk energy, a bit of rawness. So it just seems like whatever they do, my brain is here for it. So yes, once again, a compelling tune. Very much enjoying this album and the Cure journey overall. Shout out to all those who've been part of it. I did do another video reaction. I got a little lost in the sequencing, so shout out to Sophia, who's provided a list of a chronological sequence of their music videos, as well as the Flemish Giant, who like reminded me that I mentioned before that this one was when they re-recorded some of these tracks, not from the era of Three Imaginary Boys. So at some point I will try to be more studious in my journey, though to be fair, in my music video journeys for the bands that I've been audio deep diving on, I have jumped around a little bit in chronology, even if more or less with those music video journeys I'm trying to go from earlier to later, but in a less specific fashion than in the audio journeys. So basically what I'm saying is bear with me, but I will try to be a bit more chronological with the Cure music video reactions. In any case, shout out to this little ragamuffin. Is she? Yep, she's actually sleeping. At the beginning of this video and before I shot the video, I thought she was going to attack, but suddenly she's sleepy. So yes, from Luca and I, let me know what you're thinking, and I will see you for the next one. Peace.